After drafting Kenyon Sadiq and Mason Taylor, the New York Jets offense could dominate opposing defenses in 12 personnel.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast. I'm Damian Parson. And on today's episode, we're talking rookies, guys. We're going to talk about right tackle, Clemson's right tackle, going to the Detroit Lions, Blake Millers, and his importance to the Detroit Lions offensive line. Emmett Johnson, the running back out of Nebraska that was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs, what role should he have as a rookie in year one? And let's kick the show off talking about how should the New York Jets use their back-to-back rookie picks on tight ends in the 2026 NFL season. In 2025, in the second and third round, the New York Jets select Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU. If you know the last name Taylor, that is also the son of Hall of Fame pass rusher Jason Taylor. Just to double up and double down on the position, a year later, where they ended up having 3 first-round picks, and they selected Kenyon Sadiq just a couple weeks ago during the 2026 NFL Draft with the 16th overall pick. And I know some Jets fans are wondering, how do we utilize 2 young tight ends and maximize their talents? One word, one phrase: 12 personnel. If I am the New York Jets OC, 12 personnel is where I'm going to live. And the reason why is because I can get a lot out of 12 personnel with a veteran quarterback like Geno Smith, with a talented veteran running back like Breece Hall, with the weapons at the receiver spot, right? You're talking about at the Z. More than likely, you're going to see either A.D. Mitchell start out or Omar Cooper Jr., and then you have Garrett Wilson at the X, or you could flip them, vice versa. But to me, the key to this is the reason why I'm going to do this is because of the addition of Kenyon Sadiq. And it's simple to me, guys. Kenyon Sadiq, 6'3", 245, elite athlete, physical, powerful, strong blocker at the point of attack, who in his own right and in his own words, I still have to improve to face NFL edge rushers and defensive line players and prospects. And he's right. But the baseline, the floor is already high as a run blocker. And you got to earn, the same way we tell pass rushers, you got to earn the right to rush the passer. If you don't block, you don't get the rock. So Kenyon Sadiq and Mason Taylor, I don't want to take one or the other off the field unless I truly have to. If I'm going to 11 personnel and I only need one tight end on the field, I'm probably going to lean on Kenyon Sadiq. But his run blocking prowess and ability, to me, makes it's going to be such a difference maker for this offense. Because even with Geno Smith at quarterback, right? Upgrade over Justin Fields as a passer, bar none, without question. But I would like to run 12 personnel, run some wide zones, some stretch run game, get Breece Hall going, right? Get him flowing and just really allowing him to set the tempo and pace for our offense, right? And for one, keeping us ahead of the other chains, right? 3-4 yards. You never go broke taking the profit. And I know analytics and people say you don't run to set up the pass. Guess what, guys? That was a lie. Teams are running now to set up the pass because defenses have gotten smaller, faster, and are taking away passing, trying to limit passing offenses, especially down the field. So teams will, if they're not running to set up the pass, teams are running the football more and more. Hence, a Los Angeles Rams leading the league last year in 13 personnel. When you look at where the Jets were last year in 2025, per Sumer Sports, SUMERsports.com. I love this website. You go to them and you see how many plays, right? Where do they rank in terms of plays ran out of 12 personnel in 2025? The New York Jets came in at 23rd in the league at 1,010 plays ran out of 12 personnel. 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 2 receivers for those who don't know. And we're talking about EPA and everything like that. And, they break it down to EPA rank, EPA per pass, per rush, pass rate. Or what did they rank in terms of pass rate out of 12? The New York Jets were 19th. So they were top 20 in the league with 44.77% pass rate. So they threw the ball almost 45% of their snaps out of 12 personnel, right? So, but let's see, where they rank in EPA, right? They were 14th out of 12. They were 14th in EPA running out of 12, being just overall EPA, 3.62. A 3.62 EPA puts them at 14th, in the league. They were 14th behind the Broncos at 12, the Dallas Cowboys at 13. They were 14th in the league at 3.62. Now, the drop-off of EPA was massive because you look at a team like the Indianapolis Colts, they were number 1 in EPA out of 12, and it was a 60, almost 61 for EPA. The Seattle Seahawks was 57.26. The Falcons were 40.11. Then it drops to 28.5, and it starts to drop. So you have these teams in the double digits. Then you get to the Miami Dolphins, who are 9.75. The Buffalo Bills are 8.93. The Broncos 7.73. Cowboys 6.12. And then there's a drop off again to 3.62. So even though you were ranked 14th, you still weren't. It wasn't a strength. Like it wasn't like we know Daniel Jones loved those condensed sets and hey, play action bootleg, hit the first read. We're good. We get a good EPA by doing that. If I'm the Jets, I want to live in that 12 personnel, allow Geno Smith to be the veteran quarterback he is, get the ball to the first read, get the ball to whoever is open and off the play action, but get Breece Hall going, him and Braylon Allen, right? But also then that gives me flexibility from an alignment standpoint and a personnel standpoint because I can go from 12 real easy, right? I can go real easy from it looking like 12 and single back with 2 tight ends on the line of scrimmage to flexing out Kenyon Sadiq and putting him into the slot and making him a power slot. And now it looks like we're in 11 personnel because he's got the athleticism of a receiver. Does he have the same route running chops? No. But the point is, I can then run the ball out of there. I can use him as a crackback blocker, working down to the linebackers, right? And things of that nature. And allowing Breece Hall to run right off of that block. There's a lot of positive potentials, right, and possibilities for the New York Jets. So if I'm the Jets, I want to come out and I want to run 12. Again, last year, plays, 1,010 plays. They ranked 23rd in the league. I want to be closer to 17, 16, maybe 15. I want to be in the top 15 out of 12. Because number one, for a team that people may still look at, it's the Jets, I want to dictate time of possession as well. Because it's not just about running the football. I'm forcing you into base because if you're not going to play base defenses and you think you're going to sit in nickel, this is not a video game, okay? If you think you're going to sit in nickel all game long, we are going to run the football. We're going to punch you in the mouth, and we're going to see if your defense can handle it. Yes, there will be some defenses who are well built on the defensive line to deal with it. There's going to be some other defenses that are not well built on the defensive line to be in nickel personnel with pass rushers and an extra defensive backs and less linebackers and less big, strong, physical men on their defense in their front seven that we can take advantage of. And then, again, that's when we can split guys out. We can go empty, go 2x2, with motion in both, right? You can go empty. Or you can go shotgun. I'm sorry, not even empty. Well, you can go empty too. You can go empty and put Breece Hall into the slot. You literally can go to a 3x2 set and have Breece Hall lined up as the third receiver from the sideline, close to the offense, to the right tackle or left tackle, and getting him matched up on a linebacker, right? And if a team is playing a lot of man coverage against you, that's how you force them out of that. Because then I always go back to. It was years ago, Patriots versus Steelers. I think they might have been in Pittsburgh, maybe. And I remember them coming out. The Patriots came out in, I think, 12. And Brady walked up to the line of scrimmage, looked to his left, to his right, surveyed the defense, called Michael Jordan. That was the audible. Jordan. They went empty. But when they went empty, they put the receivers in the slot, they put the tight ends out wide, and they forced the Steelers to get into zone. He hit like a 20-yard seam route right to Chris Hogan. Right to Chris Hogan. Big play. So there's opportunities to force the defense into vulnerable coverages that they don't even want to be in, guys. So I'm just saying use 12. If the Rams can live in 13 and make so many plays, you can do it in 12. Hey, add an extra tight end, go to 13. But the point is, you can dominate defenses, especially undersized defenses, out of 12 personnel. The Jets should look to come out this season with a physical mentality on offense, and I think 12 personnel is where it should start. But coming up next, guys, I'm talking about Emmett Johnson, the rookie running back out of Nebraska, and what type of role he will have or should have for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. The NHL playoffs are here, where every shift matters, every moment is intense, and the pressure is at its highest. And just like performance matters on the ice, it matters off the ice too. That's where Rougit comes in. Rougit offers treatments designed to help you get ready and stay ready when it matters most. Their top option, Rougit Ready, combines clinically proven ingredients in a simple mint that dissolves underneath your tongue. It works fast, often in about 15 minutes, and can last up to 36 hours. And they also offer Go Long, designed to help with both performance and control. It's all about confidence and feeling like yourself again. So head to Rougit.com/LockedOnNHL and get 15% off your ED treatment. That's Rougit, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNHL for 15% off. Rougit, performance medicine for men. Breaking down the potential role for rookie running back out of Nebraska, Emmett Johnson. But before that, don't forget to check out the Everyday Club for ad-free episodes of this show, like today's show, and access to our group chat with me, Keith, and other listeners of the show. Tap the link in the show notes or go to LockedOnNFLDraft.supercast.com. Emmett Johnson, a guy who I liked coming out early in the process of the draft process, was Emmett Johnson. And I liked what he showcased on film. This was a guy that dense build, played with good strength and power and everything, but he had good footwork too. And I appreciated that with him. 22-year-old rookie. And I think once he got to the combine, he came in for 5'10", 205, somewhere in there, right? Good build, strong frame. But then he ran 4.5 something at the combine. I'm pulling it up now to make sure. It was like 4.5 or whatever, maybe close to 4.6. So he came in 5'10", 202, 4.56, right? He had 35.5-inch vert, 10 in the broad, 7.3 to 3 cone, 4.29 short shuttle, and everything like that. So he was not a very explosive runner, but he's a hard, physical downhill runner that has that good lateral footwork, right? Talking about the bounce. To me, I think the best way to describe his feet were bouncy. He has bouncy feet. And I felt like you watch him, he'll press the lane and you see him jump cut and string together 2 consecutive jump cuts to get from the middle of the defense to outside the tackle box. And now he's on the perimeter, right? So I think for him, you bring in Kenneth Walker, the third, right? So you bring in K9. So you're like, well, what should we expect from a rookie running back? What round was he drafted? I think he was drafted, fourth round? Fifth. He was a 21st pick in the 5th round, right? I think I dropped his grade to the 4th round. So that's around where I had him going as well in the same time frame. I think he has the potential to be a long-term backup, right, for Kenneth Walker right now. But I think it's the passing game. And there's a quote from I think Andy Reid on Emmett Johnson, which was kind of interesting, where he made the comment, and he says he can basically, it was about Emmett Johnson being able to contribute in multiple ways. And Andy Reid says he has a little bit of LaShawn McCoy to him. And if you don't know who that is, we call the man Shady McCoy, one of the top 5 elusive, and that might still be disrespectful, one of the best lateral cutters and just most elusive backs and runners in NFL history. Up there with the Gale Sayers and Barry Sanders of the world. Like, this dude was so elusive and shifty. For my college football 26 fans, if you're a gamer and you play college football 26, you know exactly what I'm about to go to. If you have a running back, you have an east-west playmaker talking about making the archetype. That's the Shady McCoy archetype, East-West. He was never a physical downhill runner. He was an East-West playmaker. And the thing that made him so special is on College Football 26, with East-West playmakers, if you improve a guy's elusiveness, he can get up to a platinum shifty. And when you get platinum shifty, you don't have to speed boost. You don't have to you can just plant and cut off his own. It's effortless. No wasted motion, no tightness in the hips. He's just planting and cutting. You can string together his jump cuts. The jump cuts are vicious, right? And that's what Shady McCoy was. So, of course, to see a quote like that, say he has a little, is still a bit of hyperbole. I don't want to do that to Emmett Johnson because I don't think he has that in him. I do think he has bouncy jump cut ability. But again, I mean, guys, we watched Shady McCoy, man. Listen, we watched Shady McCoy in the snow. You hear me? We watched that man in the snow juke and jive against defenses and get busy. I don't want to put that on Emmett Johnson because that's not really totally his skill set. That short area quickness, twitch, and burst and speed of a Shady McCoy, like chef's kiss. That combination, chef kiss, right? So it's just, yeah, it's hard. I don't know if we're going to ever see a true another Shady McCoy and everything, but just one of the best runners, I think, in NFL history, like top 15 runner, like pure runners. If you just to show respect to the elder statesmen and greats of the world, of the NFL world and everything. But I think that's, RB2 works, RB3, RB2. But I think the passing game, I watched remember I've talked about it numerous times in this podcast. After the combine running back workouts, it was Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Eli Heidenreich, and it was Emmett Johnson. It was not shown on the broadcast, if I'm not mistaken, but being in the building, I saw it. They were running a wide receiver route tree. You're talking about lining up at the X and the Z, short motion into the slot, short motion into stack, and running real routes. And I'm not going to lie, for number one, Jeremiah Love absolutely killed it. Eli Heidenreich, because he's a receiver running back hybrid, he killed it. Jadarian Price looked good, which we're seeing that in with some of his routes out of the, in one-on-ones for the Seattle Seahawks mini camp right now. But Emmett Johnson did not look like a fish out of water, right? He didn't look super stiff, and he looked like, hey, if I get matched up on the linebacker, you can run some routes with me, not just out of the backfield, but motion me out into a wide receiver alignment, and I can be a matchup problem for a linebacker. So I think that's where he comes in there, right? Because Kenneth Walker's he doesn't have the natural hands, and he doesn't run a ton of routes out of the backfield, right? So he's not going to be the guy in that situation. They do have Brashard Smith in Kansas City, but who's I think former wide receiver converted to running back, but he's also kind of a diminutive size. He's small. So he's a smaller body. You don't know how much work he's going to get. I think he's probably better suited. I would use him as a punt returner and a kick returner, honestly. You know what I mean? And utilize that speed and agility and everything else on special teams. But the point is, for me, when it comes down to Emmett Johnson, can he fill that role? And I think he could fill that role in this offense as the pass catcher, giving that the offense a different feel. Because then we're talking about him catching the ball in the short and shallow areas of the field, or screen patterns and things like that. And now he's out on the perimeter. It's him versus a corner. Guess what? You got to make a business decision, because that's 5'10", over 200 pounds, like muscle build frame, right? He's not the biggest back, but he's dense, he's strong, and he runs hard downhill. You better be willing to tackle. If not tackle, then it's like riding that mechanical bull. You better hold on for dear life, brother, because you're going for a ride. You better hold on for dear life, because that's the type of situation you can get yourself in where you're like, man. And then you don't want your DB's coach, your defensive coordinator, to say you had one job. Not to tackle him, not just to tackle him. If you can tackle him, tackle him. But if you can't hold him up, like just stop him, like slow him down so we can rally to the football. So I think with a play call like Andy Reid, I could absolutely see this young man having an impact as a rookie. Heck, have them both on the field at the same time, right? And everything like that. And with Kenneth Walker's speed and his explosiveness, maybe you Alvin Kamara him in a way and utilize him and put him in the slot and run some jet sweeps and jet pop passes with him. And we know he's such a talented and creative runner, one of my favorite running backs in the league and everything. So I think Emmett Johnson could carve out a role on this team, because he's got the talent to be a player. in the NFL and be one that contributes. Looking forward to the summer and training camp in July and August, and then preseason to see what this young man can do and with his touches, right? Especially preseason. That's going to be his opportunity to really show, hey, against live competition, what I'm capable of. But coming up next, guys, an underrated, under the radar, just to me, really slept on pick, Blake Miller, right tackle from the Clemson Tigers, going 17th overall in the first round to the Detroit Lions. What does that spell? We're going to talk about that coming up next. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's an important reminder that whatever you're carrying right now, you don't have to go through it alone. Life can feel overwhelming sometimes, whether it's stress, uncertainty, anxiety, or just trying to manage everything on your plate. And it's easy to feel like you need to figure it out by yourself. But therapy can be a place to get support, gain perspective, and talk things through with someone who's there to listen and help. BetterHelp connects people with licensed therapists and makes it easier to get matched with someone who fits your needs and goals. I think a lot of us have moments where stress or uncertainty can keep us up at night. And it helps to remember that asking for support is a strength. It is definitely not a weakness. You don't have to be on this journey alone. Find support and have someone with you in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day. And thank you for making a Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in America. It's all because of you. With the 17th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions selected right tackle out of Clemson, Blake Miller. And this was a pick that I actually called because I felt like this is what I never took. That report, guys, that report coming out of the coaches meeting or whatever it was, and Dan Campbell saying, yeah, I'm almost ready to flip Penei Sewell to left tackle. I didn't take that as smoke. I took that as a smoke signal. I took that as, hey, flare gun going off. Alert, alert. I'm moving Penei Sewell to left tackle. That's what I took that as. And at 17, I said, you know what? Because remember, Blake Miller went 17th overall. He went before Monroe Freeling, who was a true left tackle. So if you weren't moving Penei Sewell at all, and you were going to keep Penei Sewell at right tackle, why didn't you just take Monroe Freeling, who's a natural left tackle? That's his position. No, the Detroit Lions said, let's go get 6'6" 3/4", 317 pounds, 34 1/4 on the arm, 9 3/4 on the hand, right tackle, who started 54 consecutive games, who put up 32 reps on the bench press. Let me explain how impressive that is. 34 1/4 on the arm length, and he put up 32 reps. Because most people know, and I can speak to this, as a short king with short arms, it's easier for me to bench 225, right? Longer arms guys, when you fully lock out, you got to ways back down to hit the chest and pop it back up. And get these reps. To get 32 reps is so impressive for Blake Miller. But it makes sense because you see him as a run blocker. He is strong at the point of attack. So it makes so much sense. This is an underrated move. And I'm going to compare it to a move last year. In the same pick range, inside the top 20. I think it might have been 18 or 19 last year. The Seattle Seahawks selecting Gray Zabel, interior offensive lineman from North Dakota State? And they won the Super Bowl that year. They protected the interior in the interior pocket for Sam Darnold. They opened up running lanes in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots defense led by Mike Vrabel. So I think this is that type of move. I think the Detroit Lions walked away with one of the biggest steals and just underrated moves in the draft. Because now Penei Sewell goes to the left side. He's your best, an elite offensive tackle, who is a natural left tackle who's only been playing right because you had Taylor Decker. So he goes back to left tackle, right? And now you put Blake Miller in as the right tackle. Penei Sewell gets to block and protect the blind side of your non-athletic and not really mobile quarterback, Jared Goff. A guy that when you protect him, he can get into a rhythm like the top quarterbacks in the league can. And he can get into a flow where he is Ginsu knifing defenses, just slicing, dicing, and getting the ball to his receivers, to Jameson Williams, to Sun God, as he calls himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown, to Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield, to Isaac Tesla, right? To Sam Laporta. They have the weapons. Now, I think their OC might be Drew Petzing. If so, God bless. I'm a little concerned if that's the case. I think he is the OC. I would tell you right now, if somebody watched the Cardinals tape, it wasn't the players. It wasn't just the players. People blame Marv. People blame, Kyler. There's a lot of blame that you could throw around. A lot of blame has to go to coaching. That offensive structure just wasn't good overall. Wasn't a fan of it, to be completely honest. And so shout out to him. If he can't make it work with Jared Goff and these weapons, might be time to hang up the sneakers, right? Might be time to put up the bubble vests and the quarter zips. Might be time to hang those up and do something else. But man, I'm really excited for Blake Miller in this offense, opposite of Penei Sewell. Again, being able to in the run game, he can pull too. Now, Garrett Riley had a bad habit of teaching those guys at Clemson, those tackles, or just the offensive line period. If you're going to do the skip pull, you're 6'6", long legs, high-waisted, stuff like that, high hips. Yeah, that's something that's not really that's not conducive, right? Just open the hips and attack down, keep the line straight, work down the line, and go get your guy. I think as a puller, you know what I mean? If you want to pull the tackle in the run game, backside, counters, he can do those things as well. So at the end of the day, I think the Detroit Lions got themselves a really good player and a very underrated player that can have a major impact for them. So is he important? He is vital. He is highly important to this offensive line, especially once he gets his opportunities to get in that starting lineup, to earn that starting job, and to go out there and really showcase what he can do as a run and pass blocker in the NFL. But that is the show. Talking more rookies from the 2026 NFL Draft. Blake Miller's importance and why he's a steal and potential unsung hero for the Detroit Lions in 2026. Emmett Johnson's role as RB2, RB3 pass catcher for the Kansas City Chiefs. And how should the Jets utilize both Kenyon Sadiq and Mason Taylor 1 year apart from drafting both? Simple, 12 personnel. But guys, as always, go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube. Wherever you listen to podcasts, get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day. And come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.